John Oliver, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate what you do and what you've been doing. Um, the protests have been obviously going on in our home city, New York City, but everywhere around the country and actually around the globe. In England, how does that make you feel when you see that? What does it mean to you?
I think obviously the underlying cause for it is enraging, but the fact people have mobilized around the world is genuinely moving. Seeing, young people, but also people of all generations just taking to the streets at a time like this just to say this is actually truly edifying. At a point when your faith in humanity was low, it's been good to see people fully outraged by the current state of affairs everywhere. And of course, in Britain, there are problems as well. And just this week in Bristol, protesters found a statue of a slave trader, pulled it down and threw it into the harbor where it undeniably belongs. But it was great.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a good chance for countries and individuals to reflect about their history and where they are. And Britain has a history to reflect upon for sure.
I've watched your show all the time. Last week, well, it was last night actually. You dedicated the whole episode to policing.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah,
because you couldn't. The news just happened before the show, before the week before.
Last weekend we didn't feel ready because we're having to tape our show a day early. We just didn't feel ready to say anything of substance about what was going on. So we said something very briefly and then took the week to basically throw all our resources at just one story, because it felt like the best thing that we could offer was context, kind of deep context for everything that was happening. And we'd seen this incredible clip of Kimberly Jones talking on the street, and it felt like the best thing for us to do was to basically give 33 minutes of context for that 2-minute clip and then just shut up.
All the work you guys put into this stuff, I don't know if anyone knows just by watching, they go, oh, he's just funny. And you put months sometimes into your shows.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot of work. So to do all that in a week was such a well-done job.
Well, thanks very much. They all worked very hard, and we've been looking at criminal justice stories for 6 years now. We've probably talked about criminal justice issues more than we've talked about anything else, and this felt like a way to put a bunch of things that we've been thinking about into one place, especially to give some background to what defund the police actually means beyond the very ear-catching slogan.
What does it mean?
I'd first come across that movement. Wyatt Cenac had told me about it because he did an episode of his, he was planning an episode of his show Problem Areas, which is on YouTube now. And there's an episode, I think it's episode 4. And that was the first time I started realizing what defunding the police actually meant, and that it wasn't a punitive-ish thing to do. It was reallocating resources. That would look different wherever you lived. That it was about serving whatever community the police were in better and trying to decouple safety from policing. Even this week, in researching it more and more, it starts to make more and more sense, and you realize that things are so bad, you need solutions that are going to match it. And the problem, of course, is if the police don't realize the scale of the problem, they're not going to accept the scale of the solution.
Yeah. Did you see, obviously you saw, but in Minnesota, they just kind of got rid of their police department.
But it's not like getting rid of it. It's basically Control-Zing, right? So it's starting again. So it's not like there's no police. It's not like it's welcome. The purge is upon us. That is the thing to try to understand about defund the police. It is not about no police. It's about what the police do.
You said it earlier, but you've been talking about these stories since whenever, I would guess whenever you began.
Yeah.
This feels different though, doesn't it, to you? Or
I hope so. I hope so. I'll say that the key thing is for the outrage to now be matched with action, because this machine has been very, very deliberately built to resist change, to kind of absorb outrage and not fundamentally change. So it is going to take sustained, significant effort to get the reforms that are going to be required here for anything to meaningfully change, because we've just been here before. You know, we've been at points in American history where things have felt different this time before. You look at the Kerner Commission 60 years ago. They're making proposals very similar to what's being talked about today. So the problem is things have not changed enough. I really, really hope that this is the time that people can manifest meaningful change. I hope that's true. And you know, watching what happened in Minneapolis is incredible. That's a massive step for them to take. And it hopefully will inspire other people that big changes are possible.
Yeah. I just had my 5-year-old just ran in really quickly, spied on me and left. Where are your kids?
They're just outside this door. There is a non-zero chance that there is a 4-year-old about to run in here dressed like a rabbit. And if he does, I just want to reassure you, it's not a Donnie Darko situation. But the rabbit is there.
Yeah, it's kind of. Do they understand why you're home and what you do for a living and what's happening, or not?
I don't think they understand any of those things. I don't think they understand why I'm home. They definitely don't understand what I do for a living. And if I even went half a sentence into explaining to them, I don't think they would appreciate or respect it. And I'm not even saying they're wrong. It's just they don't seem to understand that on a weekend, Dada needs to go to a room and swear to himself.
Yeah.
I hope they're not overhearing too much of what I say in this room once a week.
Are they?
It's a lot of Dada screaming, "What the
Can you stick around? Can I do? I have a couple more questions I want to
course.
ask you. All right, cool. We'll be right back with John Oliver, everybody.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.